Imagine a world where faith had been inherited, but fervor had waned. A world where prayers rose, but the sky seemed shrouded in a thick layer of silence. 400 long years. For centuries, without a prophetic voice, without a recorded miracle, without a fresh word from God. This is the period we know as the intertestamental silence, a void that tested the endurance, conviction, and hope of God's people. The experience of divine silence is not exclusive to ancient history, it is the reality for many believers today. You have prayed for that healing. You have fasted for that family restoration. You have believed a promise that seems more distant each day. And the question that burns in your soul is always the same: has God forgotten me? Have I been left to my own devices in this chaotic world? The story of Christmas doesn't just celebrate a birth, it celebrates the glorious end of a long wait. And it teaches us that God's silence is not a sign of abandonment, but a sign of intentional preparation. It is the time God uses to align heaven and earth, to prepare your heart, and to ensure that the miracle, when it arrives, will be perfect in timing, form, and purpose. From a spiritual perspective, waiting is the crucible where character is forged. It's easy to have faith when answers are quick, when the path is clear, and when provision is immediate. But true faith, the faith worth sharing, is demonstrated in times of stillness. Faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. In other words, I am convinced that the promise exists, even though the physical evidence screams otherwise. When we are immersed in the process of waiting, God is working in us, more than in the circumstances. He is uprooting the impatience that causes us to take shortcuts that lead us astray from His will. He is forging a humility that recognizes, I am not in control of this clock, my life is in your perfect hands. Advent is the discipline of active hope. It is not surrendering to passivity, it is surrendering to trust. What did Mary do during her 9 months of waiting? She did not panic, she dedicated herself to serving her cousin Elizabeth. She meditated on the angel's words. Her waiting was an act of obedience, service, and deep reflection. She kept the promise alive in her heart even when the surroundings, the manger, seemed to scream that the promise was poor and humble. Here's the lesson for you: don't waste your waiting time worrying. Turn your waiting into a time of preparation. Prepare the ground of your heart. If you know God has promised you a ministry, prepare yourself with knowledge and prayer. If He has promised you restoration, begin to forgive today, clearing the space so that blessing can enter. The Greek concept of kairos, God's timing, is fundamental. Your human clock, chronos, is linear and makes you impatient. God's clock, kairos, is perfect and eternal. Jesus arrived at the fullness of time. Not before, not after, but at the exact moment when His coming would have the greatest eternal impact. If your miracle is delayed, it's not that God isn't capable, it's that your kairos hasn't arrived yet. And when it does, you'll see that every minute of waiting was crucial, was necessary, and was part of a master plan you couldn't see. Think of the elderly Simeon and Anna, mentioned in the Nativity story. They spent decades, much of their lives, in the temple, waiting for the Savior. Their hope did not fade with age. Their perseverance did not wane with the passing years. They were rewarded with the vision of Jesus. Their steadfastness is a testament that faithfulness is rewarded. If you have been longing for something that seems never to come, look to them. God honors those who choose to believe in the darkness. The greatest fear during Advent is not that God is incapable, but that God is not good. The message of Christmas dismantles that fear. The God who became flesh, who humbled Himself even to a manger, is the ultimate proof of His unconditional goodness. Advent asks you not to focus on the silence, but on the faithfulness that is to come. Use this waiting time to cultivate joy in the Lord. Joy is not the absence of problems, but the presence of God. You can have joy while you wait. You can have peace while you struggle. You can have hope in the midst of the storm. Because the promise has already been given. Waiting is the seed of a deeper faith. Don't grow weary. Don't give up. The same God who broke 400 years of silence with the Song of Angels is about to break into your own situation with a miracle of His love. Remain expectant. Your personal Christmas is on its way. Trust in the timing of the one who is never late.